Welcome to the Spirit of the Highlands and Islands Tapestry project. We just wanted to give you a quick introduction to us and to the project today, because we have just recently been doing some workshops with some stitcher groups, and we plan to do lots more of those, but it was really nice to get out and meet the stitchers, and I think they found it useful to kind of get an understanding of the project. So we thought if we videoed it and did a quick introduction and maybe some more videos, that it might just help everybody to get a little bit of a better understanding of what the project's about.
I mean, we've done, it's the first workshops we've done, and just the enthusiasm we got was amazing. And the reactions of the ideas was fantastic as well, but also you know, we're learning as we go along as well, so so we can hopefully get this as right as possible, and have an enjoyable experience at the same time.
Yeah. So we should maybe just introduce ourselves.
My name's Andrew Crummy. I'm the designer of the Spirit of the Highlands tapestry.
And I'm Kirsty Campbell. I'm the stitch coordinator for the project. So
what we want to do is just give you a rough idea of what the project is about. So
before we do, we need to remember to, it's not just Andrew and I on the team of the tapestry. So sometimes when we're communicating with you, we might say the tapestry team. So it's not just me and Andrew. There's Jan and Anna, Ben, and there's Alistair. And then myself and Andrew. So we all kind of come together and do different parts of the project, but work together to.
And there are other people involved from
Highlands,
as well. So it's a combination of a lot of people, but our job is my job is to design the tapestry, and Kirsty's is to coordinate the
stitching.
Stitches. So that's our particular role.
Yeah.
We're not doing everything.
We're not doing it all.
Not at all.
No.
But it's like, so it's, and also we're working with a very good design company, Mathers, who are putting the exhibition together, so that they're worth mentioning as well.
Yeah.
So, but what I think the general idea is just to give you a rough idea of where we're at and what it's all about. The idea was, a while back, I was approached to design a tapestry to go into the new Inverness Castle, the redevelopment in Inverness Castle, and the idea was to produce a tapestry that didn't look like the Great Tapestry of Scotland. It has to have its own identity, which is okay, and to involve as many people as possible in the Highlands, voices from the Highlands, but at the same time have a narrative that gives a concise visitor's experience for those who are going to come to Inverness Castle.
And just touching on that, the amount of people that are involved, we've now got 660 stitches and growing. So we sort of started off with about 400, and that was great, and then it kind of kept going up and up, and so now we're 660 stitches and growing, so it's fantastic.
So when you're in these workshops, like what we've put out here, when you put all the linen and the yarn and the tweed out, and everybody starts touching it, and they'll start talking about it, they'll come up with these ideas. There's all this sort of buzz going on, and it's like a tsunami of ideas. And a little bit of confusion as well, because they're not quite sure what it's about, but it's like at the same time there's this sort of buzz of, oh right, I could do this, I could do that.
It's excitement, isn't it?
It's excitement, absolutely. And people very much touching it as well, the yarn. And we've been at schools, we've been with stitching groups. And we've got more to come as well.
We've got more to come, because we plan to have more stitcher workshops sort of throughout the whole region, and get to see as many of you as we can, because it is really, you know, for you seeing all of these materials in person and being able to ask questions, and is really helpful to kind of just understand the project that little bit more.
So the basic idea is to produce, we've got this idea of producing journey stones where each stitcher is invited to put in contribute to the tapestry by doing a story from the Highlands of why they live in the Highlands, why they like the Highlands, a bit of the history of the Highlands,
or just what they like about
I mean, what we found is that a lot of them respond to the colour and the textiles. The colour is really important through the whole thing. And also the other element that comes through time and time again is the textile history of the Highlands. So you've got Harris tweed, you've got tartans, obviously, you've got linen production, we've got
speciality yarns as well, so they're absolutely gorgeous, from a couple of suppliers who, one of them's a stitcher actually, Helen from Ripples Craft, and all of these beautiful yarns that you can see are made, dyed by Helen. And for those we'll be doing, those aren't to stitch with, those are to create cords with. So there's going to be there's a few different ways to be creative in the project.
Yes. So the idea is we've got cord making, and these are sort of these are sort of yarns being twisted together. So we're twisting the stories of all these people in the Highlands together to create this much bigger artwork. And so there's this sort of symbolism behind it. Also,
and it represents the sort of the textile heritage as well of tweed production and yarn production.
But it can also represent like waves or the sea, or it's one of these themes that's going to run through the whole tapestry. We're aiming for 52 panels, which will cover the themes which Alistair has written, and within that there will be content from Alistair, but most of it will probably be, certainly the journey stones is from the stitchers, but the narration is hopefully we think that'll bring it together.
All together.
So the idea is to have 52 panels designed and stitched, and 22 of them will go into the Inverness Castle, and the rest of the 30 will go outside into a tapestry trail around the Highlands to encourage the visitor to visit parts of the Highlands that they wouldn't usually go to take them to unusual places and to find stories that they've never heard before. That's the idea.
Right. So it's not all going to be pieced together, because that's a question that we've been asked a few times.
It's not, but it might be at some point exhibited all together, but it won't be joined together ever. It won't be, but it will look like a complete design. That's my job, is to make it look like
it all works together.
It all works together, whether it's 10 panels together, whether it's 52 panels together, or whether it's the idea is in Inverness Castle will be 22 panels plus the 30 panels outside the tapestry trail, but also the panels inside Inverness Castle will be some of them will be interchangeable, so everybody will always, every panel will have the opportunity to exhibit in Inverness Castle.
Yeah, okay.
So everything's got to be most of the panels have got to be interchangeable. So it's a little bit complex.
It's a bit complicated.
It's a bit complicated. So you will get sort of images that are quite similar, but they will then be similar in size and content, so they can be put into Inverness Castle.
Yeah. Okay.
So you may get a sort of Highland cow, but you may get 2 or 3 versions of that, but each one will be different, but there will always be a place in Inverness Castle for one of the Highland cows.
Yeah, so that does make sense, and it's really nice then, because if you've got a few different, so 2 or 3 of a Highland cow, for instance, because different groups will have they'll do it different ways, and they'll bring different things to it, depending on where they stay, who's in the group, what their interests are, what they like about living in the Highlands, or what's important to them.
And so then you also will have you will have, some will have a lot of applique in them, some of them will be all embroidered, there'll be variation in the actual construction as well, and they will look different as well, because you get I think you've got 2 different colours of Highland cows. You've got the black Highland cow, and you've got the
red Highland,
the red ochre, beautiful colour of it. So it's about the interpretation of the stitchers, what they bring to these designs will make them unique.
And I think that kind of brings us nicely on to some of the panels have more of a kind of drawn design, and then that's evolved a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the initial panels that I designed were sort of almost complete, but as the project has progressed, and as the idea of the journey stones and the contribution of the journey stones has progressed, I think it's become apparent that to marry the narration, Alistair Moffat's narration, into what they are producing, the stitches are producing, that I can drop the main image often at a later date, as long as the stitches can get started by doing their journey stones, and then as we progress I can add bigger drawings on as we progress, or if it works out, one of the stitches may draw the main panel, but the stitches don't tend to do that. They want something that is ready to go, but we can do it either way. The idea is always to try to get the stitches as involved as possible, so it becomes more and more about a statement of
the people who are involved,
the hundreds of people who are contributing to this project. It's their voices that are in this tapestry.
And I know a lot of stitchers have asked about what's going to happen to the Journey Stone samplers, and so I think when we first started the Journey Stone samplers, it was really a kind of idea to just practice kind of sampler, just to get familiar with the materials and get stitching. And then as the project has grown in terms of stitcher numbers, the idea for the Journey Stones has also evolved.
Yeah, so we've now got these panels where there might be a circle of stones, there might be a cairn, there might be
you have one with there's a beach, and there's a kind
scene,
of wall of stones
as
well.
The dry stain dikes, dike of, and you get different dry stain dikes across the highlands.
Yeah.
So, for example, we're doing one particular wall from Summer Isle.
Yes.
Where they've taken a photograph of a dry stain dike, which is a sheep paint.
Yeah. It's got a name.
It's got
a
name.
It's called a fank. I think that's right.
Yeah,
I'm sure somebody will tell us if we've got it wrong.
I get corrected all the time.
Yeah.
So we're creating these general images that will be the shapes of the panels, and we'll add possibly bigger images as we go on within the project. So there are two types of panels that have gone out. There's one that are almost complete. They've got journey stones have got to be added to. Then you've got this new journey stone, new panels where you start with the journey stones and you add the big image later on.
And just to be extra confusing, because we're trying to be really clear.
Yeah.
So the journey stone samplers that you've had aren't necessarily what will go in those, because the panels that you've drawn up that have got the sort of stone shapes around the centre, we are still calling those journey stones, but we don't mean to put your journey stones into that shape there.
No.
But the journey stone samplers that you've been making, which we have seen beautiful images
really
that
nice,
on
really
Facebook,
nice.
gorgeous stitching and really interesting content and funny content as well. We love the wellies, great.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that are beautiful and lovely. So it's finding a way to kind of include those. So when we're talking about the stones that are on these panels, the journey stones that you've been creating, we hope to include those on panels at the end, but we can't see exactly where they're going to go until we know a little bit more about what they all contain.
But there's also some that are fitted journey stones which have to be a particular shape, because it's quite a really tight design. Whereas you've got sort of loose journey stones which you can almost put anywhere. So and also the other thing is that you can get, if you run out of yarn, there's these little hubs all over the highlands now, where you can go and get more yarn if you want to add more yarn to your journey stone.
Yeah, so that was actually, it's a really good point for us to end on, because we'll just finish this film up in a wee minute. But lots of people have asked about, can they have more yarn? And as the project was growing, getting really, really big, I kind of quickly realised that I just couldn't wind fast enough by myself. So lots of people have volunteered, which is fantastic. We've now got 8 hubs just getting up and running, which will be I'll let you all know how to get in contact with them. And really the idea is you don't have to just use 8 wee balls of wool for your journey stone sampler. You can access more yarn from the yarn hubs for your journey stone sampler, because that was a bit of a thing for people wanting to have a little bit more yarn. So
hopefully that is of help to you, and we'll probably do more of these.
Hopefully, if it's helpful, and let us know if it's helpful, and if it is, then we can do some more.
Questions.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.